Hi, I'm Noreen Dollinger from Dollinger Family Farm in Shanahan, Illinois.
Noreen, would you tell us a little bit about your farm?
We have a beautiful farm that has been in the family since 1852, so we work very hard at sharing those experiences with our guests. We retail pumpkins. We have other entertainment activities with the pumpkins, which makes the experience of picking a pumpkin a total family fun event. We have pumpkins, we have gourds, mini pumpkins, we do corn shocks, we do a lot of those kinds of fall decorations. Our main agricultural enterprise that we work on is we raise corn and soybeans. So this is a side project that works out well, and we enjoy that.
How long have you been with the pumpkin business?
This marks our 22nd year of growing pumpkins, so quite some time.
And how did you get started in the pumpkins?
We started in the pumpkins basically because we are corn and soybean farmers. We had beef cattle. There were so many things about agriculture that as my children were young, they couldn't participate in. We started growing pumpkins as a way for them to develop that relationship with the soil and stewardship of a crop, and showing how it goes all the way to the retail and how the whole chain is important every step of the way.
Let's talk a little bit about your pumpkins. We've got some video of your pumpkins, but where do you get your pumpkin seeds, and what kind of special care goes into that?
We're very lucky in the United States. We have a lot of great commercial suppliers, and we order them from commercial suppliers. I have some excellent representatives that help me talk about the different varieties that are coming out. For example, one of my main difficulties is powdery mildew, and that industry has been developing seed which is powdery mildew tolerant, and that helps me plan my crop. And we try to have really different kinds of seeds and varieties, things that you don't find in other places, obscure kinds of squashes and different colors and shapes and sizes of pumpkins.
To get a pumpkin ready for Halloween, in a perfect year, and there aren't any perfect years in farming, but in a perfect year, how would we get that perfect pumpkin, let's say 3 or 4 days before Halloween? What's the process? When do you start?
We actually order our seed in December, so this year I will be ordering seed in December, and that way I know what I have planned. We plan out the whole planting process because, of course, different kinds, varieties need a different population, a different rate of seeding, and so we will plant about the first week of June. And then we probably, by the time, we have to be very careful. The insects can be really difficult. The cucurbits are plagued by cucumber beetles, and so we will maybe have to spray the pumpkins for insects within 3 weeks of them coming out of the two-leaf stage. So we have to spray them. We have to watch for powdery mildew, funguses, diseases. So probably every 10 days we're watching those pumpkins.
And you don't just spray by hand, you also spray with helicopters now.
Yes, which is a wonderful development, because typically we would go through the field with a tractor and a sprayer, and now with the help of our helicopter friend, we don't ruin as many vines or crack as many pumpkins before we get to harvest, so we appreciate that.
Weather-wise, in a perfect pumpkin growing year, you would have a little bit of rain at the beginning and throughout?
Yeah, we need constant kind of a rain schedule. It's very hard on the pumpkins when we have a dry period, because pumpkins are mostly water. So that's really an important thing to remember.
Special skill set. What special skill do you think is different for pumpkins than it is for traditional corn or soybeans here in Illinois? What special skill do you think you possess?
I think you have to really be able to scout your field, and when I say scout the field, that means be willing to spend some time walking around in the field and looking at the plants and watching for diseases, because pumpkins are very susceptible to lots of different diseases. So to have a good awareness for things, to be very observant, take your time, not just plow through the field and look at, perhaps maybe you will find the eggs of a squash beetle or something on the underside of a plant. So those are important skills, to be very observant, to be patient.
Earlier when we were out in the field, we were talking about, if you had a technological improvement, that might be a pumpkin planter. They don't have a pumpkin planter yet.
No.
So how do you plant your pumpkins?
We plant them with an old 8-row planter, but the rate at which they are planted, as we mentioned before, has to be different. And we actually still sit on the back sides of those boxes to make sure that seed is going down very, very correctly. The pumpkin industry is, we grow more pumpkins in Illinois than any other place, but to develop that kind of planter is going to be a little difficult, but it would make our life a lot better if we could get that perfect pumpkin planter.
Well, and yet with technology, one of the things we noticed out in the field were your bees. Tell us about your bees, how important a role they play.
We need the bees. If we don't have the bees, we don't get pumpkins, because that's how you get a pumpkin, if a bee does pollinate the plant. So we do have many beehives. We also care for those, and we collect the honey. We sell the honey here on the farm also. So the bees are really what make it. You can have a beautiful crop, and if you don't have the bees to pollinate the plants, you're going to spend all your time growing vines.